Using Status Center, I'm going to see which tasks are coming due. So let's pretend that several months have gone by and it's February. So when I go to Status Center, I can see that there are some things that are still open, meaning there's no completed date on that transaction because I had left the date out on purpose so I could keep track of the next steps. So here are my next steps. So that 09 print to file, I had left that completion date blank until I filed. Okay, so I actually did file. So I'm going to go back in and put the date in where I had filed all of the paperwork, including the service summary, in the child's binder at the site. So that is there now. So I'll save and I'll go back to Status Center. If I refresh my screen on Status Center down at the bottom, it'll go away. All right, now the next thing that I need to do it's my very first quarterly follow-up after the initial referral follow-up steps. So I see that I'm going to need a goal review, that's due, a level of service update, and I also need to do a follow-up on those post-observation strategies. So basically, I need to check in with the teacher and also enter my 08 post-observation strategies follow-up transaction. So 3 things that I have to do. So let's pretend like I've already done the service delivery part. I've already met with the teacher and the parent to get goal reviews done and the service level updated. And I've already met with the teacher and followed up on those strategies. So all that stuff is completed. Now I just need to document it. So I'm going to start by going into my existing level of service transaction, and I'm going to go ahead and enter the date that I did my level of service update with the family. And this is going to be the same date of my transaction. So I'm going to put February 20th in here. That's going to be the same date as my next level of service transaction that we'll enter in just a minute. So there's that one, and I'm saving and back to Status Center, and I'll refresh and I'll see that one's going to go away, and I don't really want a level of service to go away completely, so I'm going to leave my next transaction that I enter, I'm going to leave the completed date blank so that I'll have it in my list to see when my last level of service was done, so I can track when the next level of service update is needed. And the same thing goes for this goal review. So I'll go ahead and put the February 20th date in there, and that's going to be my transaction date that I enter for my 06A goal review transaction that we'll do in just a second. And then when I enter that one in, I'll leave this blank so that it will still appear in my list. So I saved and I go back to Status Center, I refresh, and I see that that one goes away. So now the last thing is I need to close out my post-observation strategies by entering a completion date for that 11:30 transaction that I had entered. I did follow up with the teacher, so I'm going to put the date that I followed up, and I followed up during that same meeting when we did the goal review and the level of service update. So all those 3 things happened at the same time. So I'm going to close this one out, that's done, and I go back to Status Center. If I refresh my screen, I see that that goes away. Now this clean slate that's left is only temporary because I'm about to add more transactions, a new goal review transaction and a level of service transaction, and I'm going to leave the completed date blank so that those will appear in my list so that I can track for next time.